Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Storytime Saturday. So this week I've decided to talk about the time that I met 30 Seconds to Mars. So I've met them 3 times in total. They are an American rock band and they make the most amazing music. Why did the sun get suddenly so much brighter? My eyes! They make the most amazing music. You might know the lead singer. So like I said, I've met them 3 times in total. I met them in Birmingham, I met them in Dublin, and I met them in Germany. So I'm going to talk about the time that I met them in Germany. So I got a kind of like a meet and greet ticket package thing, and in it was included, I got to meet them, I got a photo with them, I got to get a poster signed by them, and I got to go on stage with them for the last song on their set. And it included a concert ticket as well. So it was the summer of, I think it was 2011, and I got my ticket, got the plane tickets, got the hotel, and I went over to Germany with my mom. We flew over on, I can't remember what days it was on, so let's just say I flew over on Friday and the concert was on the Saturday, and then I flew home the Sunday. So we stayed in a hotel directly across the road from the venue. Like, all you had to do was cross a line of traffic and you were at the venue. So we landed on the Friday, and then we got to the hotel, we checked in, and then we got all of our documentation, and we went over to the venue to get our tickets. It's similar to Walker Stalker in the way that you have to present your receipts and stuff, and then they give you your wristband and your pass. So I had what was called a golden ticket. So I picked up my lanyard and my wristband on the Friday, and then we went back to the hotel, went to sleep, and we got up the Saturday morning, which was the morning of the show. So I was very, 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 very nervous about meeting them. I had already met them before this, so I knew what to expect, which is what frightened me even more, because they're so lovely in real life, they're really nice guys, but I was freaking out. So we got up that morning and we went down to breakfast. I was so nervous I couldn't eat. I had a plate of chips in front of me, and I was literally nearly getting sick. And then because it was the height of summer, all the windows in the hotel were open, and I could hear someone go testing 1 2. I literally dropped the chip that I was holding. It was Jared, the lead singer. They were doing sound check. And then I started getting so emotional into my plate of chips, and I was like to my mother, I can't meet them, I can't do it, I want to go back to the room. So she talked me out of my little meltdown, and we got to the venue. So it was in an outdoor venue. It was like a racing track or something. And we could see the stage in the way off distance, and we were brought to it was like a really big dugout, and we were just standing kind of in this little dugout to wait. So it started raining, and then thunder and lightning just started lighting up the sky. So we were all huddled trying to avoid the weather, and then this woman kept running up and down past us with a walkie-talkie and a clipboard. So then it was an hour until we were supposed to be let into the concert, and we still hadn't met them. And there was about 100, maybe 200 people there waiting to meet them. So I kind of did the maths and was like, they're not going to get through all these people in an hour. So my mom called over your one that was running up and down, because obviously she worked for them. And my mom was like, what's the deal, are we going to get to meet them before the show? And the woman was like, I don't think the concert's going to go ahead. The thunder and lightning is way too extreme. The weather conditions are actually borderline dangerous. We might have to cancel the show. Now, picture this. I had flown over from Ireland. I'm terrified of planes, I'm claustrophobic, I'm terrified of flying. The woman was like, we might have to postpone the show until tomorrow night or maybe next weekend. Sure, that was fucking no good to us. We were flying home the day after the show. There was no way we could have made it if it had been postponed. So I was freaking out, and I was like, if they cancel it, that's it. I'm not going to get to meet them or see the show. But it all went well. We were told that we'd meet them after the show instead of before the show, planned. So we were let into the concert venue, and me and my mother were front row. Now the ticket I had was I was allowed to be at the side of the stage for the concert. So after the support act at a certain time, 7 o'clock, I was led up onto the stage, onto the side of the stage, behind. There wasn't even a barrier, we were just told stand in this area. And it was just, the concert was the most unreal experience of my life. I was eye level with them. I was actually standing on the stage, I was just to the side, and being able to see them crystal clear perfectly. Being able to see Tomo switch guitars, or fix his in-ears or whatever. Being able to see Jared prance around like the magical little fairy that he is. That man is impossible to photograph, he never stands still. And then for the last song, which was Kings and Queens, I was allowed actually onto the stage. So for Kings and Queens, Mars always used to pick people out of the crowd to come up on stage. So Jared would kind of go down to where the crowd was, and he'd pick people and bring them up. My ticket just guaranteed that I'd get on stage. So I was led on stage, and I looked out at a sea of thousands and thousands of people. It was just like something out of a film. So then they started Kings and Queens, and it was just incredible to be on stage with them and look out at that crowd. It was, oh my god. And I actually filmed a lot of it, so I'll probably insert clips as I'm speaking or insert pictures. It was just incredible to see the crowd, a wave of people jump on command all at the same time. It was just like a wave of movement.
I want every single person, do you understand me? I said every single person on this fucking field. And if you can't jump, you better be putting that fist up in the air. If somebody is next to you and they are not jumping, you better turn around and pick them up off the fucking ground. Do you hear what I'm saying? Let's try it again. Don't make Shannon come out there. He'll set you straight. Jump, 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 jump. One, two, one, two.
And my mom then was in the crowd. She was inside stage with me, and I actually spotted her in the crowd. She took a picture of me while I was taking a picture of her. So I'll insert a picture of that because it's one of my favourite pictures I've ever taken, because I managed to spot her in a crowd of like 50,000 people. So then after the show then we were led down off the stage and we were led back to the little dugout place where we had been to meet them. I was trying to fix my makeup and trying to fix my hair. Nothing was working. I mean, I was a mess after the concert. So myself and my mother were standing there, and then we were waiting for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I think at this point it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was coming on to 1 o'clock in the morning anyway. And the lads in the band obviously had to leave to get cleaned up after the show because they were all sweaty and whatever. So a little car kind of pulled up then in front of us, and then out got 30 Seconds to Mars. Jesus, I had to lean against the wall behind me. I thought I was going to pass out, like. So they then kind of started making their way through the line of people, meeting people, signing things, whatever. So the first person that I met on that night from the band was Tomo. He's the guitar player. He is such a fucking howl. He is so lovely. So he came up to me and he saw my picture, and I just said, thank you so much, you know, for doing what you do. You're the reason I play guitar. And he was just like, oh no way, what can you play? So I was telling him I had an electric and an acoustic and that I play both. And he was like, what songs can you play? And I was like, well, I can play every song that Mars have ever made. The first song I learned how to play was The Kill. And he was like, no, fuck Mars, you have to learn the classics. And I was like, to me, Mars are classics. So he laughed about that, and then he started telling me about kind of his guitars, how he got playing, about the bands that he listened to growing up and why he loved them. So he was so lovely. And then after him was Shannon. Shannon's just a little goofball. I can't remember what he said to me, but he said something to me and he kind of started giggling. Shannon smelled amazing though. As soon as he walked past, you could just smell like aftershave or something. It was really lovely. And then was Jared. So Jared Leto has this kind of persona about him. He's made for the stage. He's such a striking person in real life. He is intimidating, but he's not intimidating in the negative way. Like when you're standing in front of him, so aware of who he is, and it's not even that he's famous. It's that like I can't even put my finger on it. But he's such a lovely man. So he was standing in front of me and he took my poster and he was about to sign just his regular signature, and I said, Jared, would you mind writing Live Your Dreams? And he looked up at me and I said, well, I want to get it tattooed when I get back home. So he just kind of went, yeah, no problem. And then he went to write it, and then he stopped and he started again, and he took such care with how he wrote it because he knew I'd get it tattooed. After I had met the group, say, and I got their autographs, then everyone had to line up again to get their photos taken. So the lads went and they stood in front of like a backdrop, and we were led up one by one to get our pictures taken. So I went up to them, nervous as shit. Like, I'm the most nervous fucking person. I don't do playing it cool, like. So I just walked up to them and I was like, hello. Not even able to make eye contact. And I stood in between Jared and Shannon. And Jared then kind of pulled me close, and Shannon leaned in as well at the last minute. And it was as I was looking at the camera, and it was as I was having my picture taken, I could just see their two heads, like, on either side of me. And I did have that thought of just, fuck. And after I had the picture taken, I said thank you, and Jared kind of rubbed my arm and he was like, thank you for coming, because he knew by the accent that I was from Ireland. And I was wearing a leather jacket, and at the back of the leather jacket I had it was like a little buckle. And I turned around and I was about to walk away from them, and Shannon put his finger into the buckle and kind of pulled me back. So I just kind of looked at him and he was like, it's a cool jacket. So I was just kind of like, thank you. And I had to pass Tomo before I left, and I was like, and thank you for the advice, because Tomo had told me, you know, keep playing, keep practicing, don't give up, all that kind of lark. So before I left, I just turned to Tomo and I went, thank you for your advice. It means so much to hear it coming from you. And he was like, oh, no problem, just don't stop playing, okay? When Tomo fucking Malkovic tells you to fucking do something, you do it. So I didn't actually get back to the hotel that night until about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then I was just after meeting my favourite band. So I couldn't sleep, I couldn't talk, I couldn't string a sentence together. I was buzzing with like what felt like electricity. And then we got up to Sunday and we checked out and we flew home. We'd fly into Dublin Airport, which is, it's not that long a flight, it's about 2 hours maybe. And then it's another 2 hours drive to get to my home. So by the time I got home, I was so wrecked. And that was my experience of how I met 30 Seconds to Mars in Germany. That's just one of many stories I have, but I thought I'd share it with you guys. And then when I came home, I got the picture printed out all big and I have it on my wall, and it's an experience I'll never forget. Standing on stage with my favourite band, feeling the floor vibrate like with their music. And I just never felt more perfectly in place than I did in that moment. So that's just my story. I might tell you guys a story about how I met them for the first time, which was in Birmingham. Like I said, the Storytime Saturday is going to be one video every week on a Saturday, hopefully. I mean, I'm filming this on a Saturday, but I don't know if I'll get it uploaded in time. And if I don't, then it'll just be Storytime Sunday for this week. But let me guys know what kind of story you want to hear. You want to hear something funny? Do you want to hear the time I met Mars for a different time? Or do you guys want to know what concerts I've been to? Or, you know, what kind of tattoos I have? Whatever you guys want to know, leave a comment. And I really do appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, or subscribe if you do feel inclined. And I will talk to you all soon.